Okay, so I normally don't do, like, post-commentary, like voiceover stuff, but I felt like this video kind of needed it. So, yesterday I recorded a video where I tried to do the Abyss with my Neuvillette, now that he is less copium. He's still kind of copium, but he's less copium than he was. Pretty standard team, just using Fischl and Kasa and Zhongli. I originally had done this with my Eula team on the first half. This was partly inspired by a Reddit post I saw about somebody who couldn't 36 star and then their friend was able to do it with Devil Hydro Hu Tao and Neuvillette. And I was like, I should try this. So I originally did it with my Eula, but I decided that that wouldn't make for a good video because my Eula's C6 and my Mika's C6 and my Raiden's C3, and I really didn't think that would make like a good video. So I decided to use Devil Hydro like National or like National Yelan. I am using 3 5-star weapons on this team, but I decided to do it again after I finished this recording with Xiangling on the catch instead of Scarlet Sands. It actually went way better. I did it on the first try. So I could have maybe had an easier time doing this, but the first chamber went pretty well. Just sitting here waiting for Xiangling to get enough stacks, or all 3 stacks on her spear. Yelan's burst first, just so we can get that ramp up for the bonus damage, and then using Xiangling's burst last, just so she can snapshot the highest amount of Yelan's burst buff as she can. This fight went pretty well. I really, did not do my rotations very well. The second time I did it, I did a lot of things differently. I totally missed that dodge there. But you can see here, I'm gonna use Yelan's burst. I'm gonna use Xingqiu's burst first. But I'm sitting here using Yelan and Xingqiu's burst, and what I really should be doing, and what I did the second time I did this, was I was just spamming Bennett's skill as much as possible, because I'm so close to breaking its core, and then it flies up in the air. So just run around, break these things. Not that hard to do. This was kind of annoying that this attack went through. I wasn't quite fast enough, so that was kind of annoying. But what are you gonna do? Just cycling, get some energy back. Bennett's burst. You know. And you'll see this again several times throughout the video. I don't always use Yelan's burst first, like I probably should. There are a lot of times where I just go straight from Bennett burst into Xiangling's burst, and I don't let Yelan's buff snapshot at all. Not really a problem in the first 2 chambers, but it really hurt me on chamber 3. And then here, you know, just standard Neuvillette. I actually found that 1, he's a busted character, especially this Abyss. But 2, I found out that a combination of Prototype Amber and Fischl's self-healing when she uses her burst was apparently more than enough sustain for keeping everybody alive, because I never really had any problems with health, even with all these Rift Wolves. Although granted, I was doing my best to avoid them, but it turned out pretty well, in my opinion. And then I don't think I do it here, but I'm gonna use Fischl's skill, yeah. I totally don't use Neuvillette's skill here, which I probably should have to get the energy. But then I go over here to bait over the Abyss Mages, and what I probably should have done is gotten Neuvillette's energy, maybe, so he could use his burst. But instead, Kazuha, infuses Pyro, because Pyro has the highest priority, and I'm left dealing with these 3 with some real, buzzer beaters, you know? I've just spammed his skill. I'm desperately trying to get their shields down, and I was just hanging on for dear life that I was able to get this. And luckily I did, with I think 2 or 3 seconds remaining, so that went pretty well. This chamber also wasn't that bad. I ended up taking the effective character healing. The second time I did this with the catch, I chose to just take the bonus damage from sprinting, which probably helped as well, considering in the end I really didn't need the healing at all. but you know, I was just worried that maybe I'd need it and regret not having it. But this was a pretty easy floor. Got the 2 Vithismal Bishops. As long as you dodge their blasts, you don't have to worry about the energy drain too much. Luckily, between Bennett and having 2 Hydro characters, no one's really ever short on energy. I am running Xiangling as I showed earlier on an ER Sands. I found that I just like being able to get her burst up very quickly and just not having to worry about it. She's still got okay-ish ER, or EM. So, this is a pretty good fight. I definitely didn't realize that that guy was still alive until that very moment. So that kind of surprised me. And now we're on to the dancers. And man oh man, was this not a fun fight. I don't like fighting them in general. I just find them very annoying. But, one, I'm not dodging at all. I'm just like moving around. But I get absolutely shredded in this fight. Like, I am getting annihilated. I mean, Neuvillette's HP drain doesn't help either. But, I am getting destroyed. And I think this actually swirls Electro. It does, yeah. So that was the second problem I had a lot. Was, very frequently, even though even though Hydro has a higher infusion priority than Electro, very frequently I would end up swirling Electro instead of Hydro. And then I'd end up like burning Kazuha's burst on an Electro infusion. Which, once again, doesn't really matter in these first 2 chambers, but it definitely mattered in Chamber 3. Luckily though, I had plenty of time to do this, and these guys don't move around too much, so I was just able to kind of chill. Here at the end, I realized I had tons of time, so I was just trying to get Kazuha to have full energy going into the 3rd chamber. And now, the 3rd chamber. Chamber 3. Here's fail number 1. Yup, not even close. Not even close. It's still got, what, maybe a 5th of his health left? Yeah, no. And then, here we are again. A little bit closer this time. A little bit closer. Still not quite. And then, this one, where, I don't even know, I guess I was just coping. Once again, a little bit closer. Then we have this, where, I realized that we had passed 8.5 minutes left, so I definitely couldn't do it. And then here I realized that Abyss still doesn't reset cooldowns, so, that's another reset, and I just had to wait for everyone's bursts to come off cooldown. Great feature, great feature. Love that about the Abyss. This happened, I think, 2 more times, but I'm pretty sure I cut them out, just because I was like, it's the same thing. And here we go again. Once again, a little bit closer, but still not quite there. Let's retry number 6. And then, I also realized here, we had even less time than the first time, so reset there, then Xiangling died, it's another reset, and then I realized again that I had to wait for burst timers to come off. So, there's another retry. But, luckily, finally, after spinning around and around and around and around and around and around, hoping that cooldowns would finally end, I was able to do it. So what I determined doing this was, if I use one Xingqiu E and then Yelan's E, I actually get enough Hydro to fully refund her burst, which means I can just go straight into everybody else's skills and bursts. So this is me just wailing on Mirror Maiden, desperately trying to keep my energy up and also get rid of her so I can get to the new Fatui enemies as quick as possible. We had a really smooth run there. So we're going to start off with Yelan's burst again. And go in for Xingqiu. Totally whiffed that Bennett E, but it's okay, Xiangling had enough energy anyway. And then, I'm still not very good at this, but I was trying really hard to try and get the 2 Fatui operatives to group up, just because if I can fight them both at the same time, I'll save so much time. And I'll have more time to fight the gravity field. Gravity field? Gravity field. On the second half. Right, here we go again. And I'm just mashing left mouse button. Luckily, they both decided they wanted to just like stack on top of each other here, which is what I was trying to do, which is great because I can hit both of them at the same time. And this time, we went into the second half with about 10 more seconds, and luckily, that was about enough. I also did, there's the Electro Infusion. I also was just a lot smarter with my rotations this time. After using Neuvillette, well, this is the 9th retry, so after using him 8 previous times, I got a little bit better at how he works. So, I was being really careful to make sure that I could make sure we get the Hydro Infusion, even though these last 2 Kazuha bursts have not been a Hydro Infusion. And eventually I figured out that if I use his burst and then just do 2 charge attacks, most of the time it'll be enough Hydro to override Oz, just because of like, I guess, ICD. And that was enough to get this Hydro Swirl eventually. And we've got 30 seconds left, and or over 30 seconds, and his HP is already this low. So he might have also just crit more this time. I am still gambling with 31 crit rate, so he's only getting up to 66 with Marashase. But this time we were able to do it with 18 seconds to spare. And yeah, I never want to do that again. I really don't. Maybe when I build Neuvillette more.